According to www.acesdv.org, domestic violence in the United States is reaching epidemic amounts. Every 9 seconds, a man or woman is being assaulted by their domestic partner. Research shows that the consequences of these criminal behaviors are far-reaching, including a negative impact on children, individuals involved, and the respective families of both parties in this abuse. For some, domestic violence is unknown or misunderstood, and that presents a problem. Only when people witness it do they realize how devastating it can be. While I argue that someone states that they have been abused by a partner, do you assume the worst and take action, or do you wait for them to take action? Many domestic violence victims do not recognize the importance that there is in speaking out if they are being abused by their partner. Today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of domestic violence and the importance of seeking help or helping someone you know seek help. I'm going to talk about what exactly domestic violence is. Second, I'm going to talk about the different types of domestic violence. And then last, I'm going to talk about helping domestic violence victims and domestic violence awareness. What is domestic violence? Domestic violence is a pattern of behaviors used by one partner to maintain and control another partner in an intimate relationship. Domestic violence can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter the age, the race, sexual preference, religion, or gender. Anyone could be a victim. It is a violation of the right we all have to a healthy, supportive, and safe relationship. Domestic violence is a serious crime and should be taken seriously. You should not keep silent about it. The Center for Disease Control reports that approximately 1.3 million women are physically abused each year in the United States. According to the National Institute of Justice, over one-third of women admitted to an emergency room for violence-related injury. The forms of domestic violence vary, but the long-term destruction of personhood that accompanies the other forms of abuse is significant and cannot be taken lightly. When people generally think about domestic violence, they usually think about physical assault. Domestic violence is so much more than just physical abuse. Abuse is a learned behavior. It is not caused by anger, mental problems, drugs, or alcohol, or any other common excuse. Some of the different types of domestic violence are sexual abuse, emotional abuse, isolation, verbal abuse, financial, physical abuse. Domestic violence is destructive for both the battered and the batterer. For some people, their social, economic, or cultural background may make it harder for them to get help. It is not always easy to leave an abusive relationship, and many victims try to justify their abusive actions. Helping isn't as straightforward as many think, but never underestimate how essential your support can be. Let them know they are not alone in this situation. Let them know that there are a lot of resources to help them leave the situation. Even if a better person is not ready to leave the abusive recognition and validation. Oh, Nikki was handing for me. Situations are important steps. Domestic violence victims should talk to family, friends, neighbors, and co-workers about the domestic violence they experience. It may be helpful to call a domestic violence helpline or put together an emergency kit. Develop a safety plan with your children, if any, including people they can call in an emergency. Remember that you are an expert about your own life. Don't let anyone talk you into doing something that's not right for you. While domestic violence can be a touchy subject to many, it is very important to discuss and understand. We talked about the definitions of domestic violence. The second thing we talked about is the forms of abuse/domestic violence. Last, we talked about how to help victims in the steps and resources to take in a domestic violence situation or dealing with someone in a domestic. If you are a victim of domestic violence, you know someone, let them know the help is available 24/7, and you can call the National Domestic Violence Line at 1-800-799-7233.